I am Sylvia Mayer. Thank you for clicking on Mayer on Mediation. Today, I want to talk about the power of imagination when seeking conflict resolution. Sometimes what the parties need most is to imagine what it will feel like to have the dispute behind them. I'd like to start by sharing a story with you about a mediation I handled several years ago. In this particular case, it was what we call a business divorce. Two individuals had had a small business together, and it was successful for many years until it wasn't. And there was deep, deep distrust between the parties over the business failure. There was a sense of betrayal, as well as despair over the ruined finances and their reputations. Each side believed that it was the other person's fault that the business had failed. They believed that the other person had behaved unethically, had lied to them, had deceived them, and that was the downfall of the business, and which resulted in significant financial consequences for each of them and damage to both reputations. It was a very emotional mediation process. Both parties needed a safe space to share and to vent, but they also really needed empathy and validation. And then what they each needed was the opportunity to imagine life ahead, a future with this behind them. Sometimes a sense of betrayal is the deepest wound. I see this in mediations all the time. When one or both parties feel that they were betrayed by a trusted party on the other side, that is frequently one of the hardest emotional obstacles to get over. Pride can also be a barrier to moving forward and to resolution. Just as with a divorce, when you end a marriage, in the case of a business divorce, grief is an important factor. So in this particular dispute that I'm using as the example, we had betrayal, pride, and grief. These two individuals had been friends for decades before they started this business, and now that friendship was over. Not only had they lost money and their reputations had been damaged, but they also lost a trusted friend. So I used that as the opportunity to talk about the future and asked them to imagine. It's a magic word. Can you imagine what life would be like when this is behind you? We are taught as young children that the word imagine triggers something in our brains. It triggers a creative part of our brain. Just think about it. When you were a little kid and someone said, "Let me tell you a story," or "Just imagine," or "Use your imagination," it signals to your brain that it is an opportunity to put aside your critical analytical thinking, put aside your emotions, and open up creatively to other opportunities. You let go of the hurt and you see potential. You see things you might not have seen before. The word imagine is a powerful word, and the power of imagination can be a very helpful tool in a mediation, particularly when it is a highly emotionally charged situation. Thank you for joining me today to talk about the power of imagination in dispute resolution. If you have any questions or comments, please comment below.